Okay, good afternoon again, everyone. My name is Ramel Tadai, and I'm going to be walking us through our showing time for the MLS Quick Start training, courtesy of Bright MLS. So just a few notes about the broadcast before we begin training today. This webinar is going to be a one-way broadcast, so everyone's going to be muted. But to get audio, you can listen by phone by dialing in and entering that access code and audio pin that was shown in the email sent regarding today's training. Or you can select mic and speakers and listen with your headset or through your computer speakers. I mentioned before that this is going to be a one-way broadcast, but if you have any questions at any point during our training today, go ahead and submit those questions in the control panel. And we are recording this webinar, so after training is completed for today, you'll be receiving a link to the video via email, and you'll be able to access it and watch it at your convenience. So here's our agenda of what we're going to be going over today. Our goal is to make sure that you're comfortable with accessing the system, setting up your listings, and creating tours for your buyers. And then you or your office may be subscribed to our other ShowingTime products, but today we're just going to focus on ShowingTime for the MLS, which is going to work seamlessly with those other products. And then everything that you see in today's training is exactly as shown in Matrix. So to get there, you can access ShowingTime for the MLS directly from Matrix itself. And then once you're logged in, click on the Clients tab, and then under Showings, you would click My Showings. And that's going to automatically authenticate you into the ShowingTime for the MLS home dashboard view. And you don't need an extra login or a password. And you'll now be able to see a snapshot of your activity, such as showings requested on your listings and indicators when you have items requiring attention. And then here on the left, you can see all these specific tabs, which is going to make up our navigation menu for the site. So we'll start with the basics of setting up secured showing instructions for your listings as a listing agent. So in the left navigation menu, you would click Listing Setup, then click on the listing that you'd like to edit, and that will open up this listing worksheet. This is going to be the main page where you edit all your listings for a specific listing. Edit all your settings for a specific listing. So we'll start with the appointment settings, and the appointment type is the identifier for showing agents, and that will instruct them how to schedule a showing for your listing. You can see there's 3 different types here. However, appointment required is the default type that's selected. And then when your showing agent requests a showing online in Matrix, they will have to wait for your confirmation before they can receive access information for your listing. So for now, I'm going to show the workflow of this specific appointment type, appointment required, as the other 2 workflows of those appointment types, that's going to be slightly different. So with this appointment type, we're going to scroll down to access information and enter those secure instructions for your listing with access details and alarm details. So for access details, you can select the option of how a showing agent can access the listing, such as by lockbox, or if the listing office is providing access, you can indicate that it's an other access method and specify that the key needs to be picked up from the listing office in the text box. And then if the listing has an alarm system, go ahead and enter those details under alarm details. And then additional instructions is a text box where you can add additional information that will appear after appointment confirmation, such as the listing office address for key pickup, or if there's going to be pets in the home, or if you're asking them to remove their shoes. And then once you've completed these fields, always remember to click Save Changes at the top. So we're going to move on to online scheduling and how to be notified by the system. And I wanted to point out that when you receive notifications from ShowingTime for the MLS, please do not forward them to anyone. In your email or text messages, there's going to be a link that you click on where you can authenticate into the system automatically, and then you can take action on a request. And then this link is going to be specifically generated for you. So if you were to forward it to the showing agent, they would actually have the ability to authenticate into your profile. So please do not forward your notifications. And then with that being said, the 4 ways that you can be notified from the system, which is the first way is email, and that's going to be the default setting. And then as the listing agent, you can click on this button to take action on a request. The second way is text message, and you can receive text messages and reply to confirm or decline the request. The third way is showing voice, which is going to be ShowingTime's automated voice call that will walk you through some prompts, such as dial 1 to confirm or dial 2 to decline. And finally, the fourth way, when you're using the ShowingTime mobile app, you can receive push notifications. Tapping on that notification will open up the app, and you'll be able to take action on the request and view details of the appointment. So with those notifications in mind, let's go ahead and schedule some showings in Matrix. We'll start as a showing agent requesting a showing on a listing. In the full detail report of a listing appearing above the listing photo, there's going to be a clock checklet where as a showing agent, you would click on to schedule a showing. Or if you scroll down, there's going to be an additional clock checklet as well with a link that says schedule a showing. So we'll click here, and that will bring us to the first step to scheduling a showing online. You're going to see all the details of the listing that you're requesting to show, along with your showing agent profile. So in this profile, you can choose how you're notified for confirmation or any updates on your request, and you can select from any of these methods of contact by checking the box next to them. And I wanted to note that you can change these contact details as well, and then any edits that you make in this window is actually going to be saved for any future requests that you submit. So before we click on schedule a single showing, remember to click agree to the terms and conditions. And that will bring us to this calendar view where you can select the date and time to show the property. So any time slots that are in black are unavailable. Any time slots that are in gray are short notice, and time slots that say request or confirmed are actually not for this listing. These are actually your own appointments that you've scheduled as a showing agent, and you can see your entire schedule up front, and you won't overbook yourself when you're scheduling a new appointment. So for the example, we're going to select this white time slot here to schedule since it's available. And then this is the last step of the request where we can indicate the type of the appointment, the end time of the appointment, and then which buyer that this appointment is for. So this option is actually optional for you because it's a way for you to organize showings for your buyer. And then by doing this, you'll be able to create a nice report of all the listings that you've shown to your buyer. And what's great is that the listing agent won't see this information as it's just an internal reference tool for you. And then finally, a text box to ask any questions or if you'd like to provide information for the listing agent. So we'll click yes to submit the request. And this screen is letting us know that the request was submitted successfully, but it's not confirmed yet. We're actually still waiting for that confirmation from the listing agent, which is the case for the appointment required listings. So again, this is typical of occupied listings where the listing agent will confirm that the requested time works for the seller, or the seller can confirm or decline the request on their end as well. And now we're going to pivot and see the other side of scheduling as the listing agent. So you as the listing agent, when you receive a request on your listing, you're going to be notified, and then all the details of the request will be included in this email, such as the listing information, as well as the date and time of the appointment. And then if you wanted to take action on this request, you would scroll down and click on the Action Required button, and that's going to direct you back into the system. You'll see again all the details of the appointment, along with that contact information of the showing agent who's requesting to show, and then you still have that opportunity to give that personal touch. And then towards the bottom, you'll see the secured showing instructions that we've entered previously. They're going to be already filled in, but again, you'll be able to edit this as well if the instructions have recently changed. So to confirm, we'll click Confirm Appointment. And that's going to send a confirmation notification to everyone on the listing side, such as yourself as the listing agent, any co-listing agent that's working with you, as well as your seller. And then the showing agent that submitted the request will also receive confirmation. And you can see here that only with confirmation will the showing agent have the access details to the listing. Now, there's two more ways that listings can be configured to receive showing requests, and this next one is Go and Show. So similar to appointment required, we're going to select that available time on the calendar and then complete the request form and then click yes. And then you'll notice this time, since the request setting is Go and Show, confirmation is automatic and you'll be able to view the access details immediately, and it will be sent to any notification type that you've enabled as a showing agent. So as a listing agent, we recommend that you use this setting for all of your vacant properties or any of your show anytime properties where your seller is eager to get as many showings as possible. And finally, we have our third way to configure our listings, and that's view instructions only. So this setting is going to be slightly different than the other two, where when you click on schedule a single showing as a showing agent, there's no calendar view, and it actually directly shows you the instructions on how to access the listing. And we recommend that you print out the instructions to take with you on the showing. And then for this setting, it's great for vacant land, any new construction properties where the sales office needs to be contacted, or this is also great for your high dollar properties where the showing agent would actually need to schedule with the listing office to pick up the keys to the property. And you'll be able to benefit from this specific setting since there's no reason to confirm a time, but it's a nice way to track activity on it. And then by utilizing our listing activity report, which we're going to go over later, you'll be able to view how many showing agents viewed those instructions along with their contact information. And now that we've covered individual requests, I'm going to show you how to build a buyer tour using our ShowingCart tool. So similar to online shopping where you can add items to your cart and check out in one transaction, you can actually request showings for multiple listings at the same time. And then to build that ShowingCart buyer tour, we'll click into the full detail report again of a listing in Matrix, and you can either click on the clock checklist above the listing photo, or again scroll down to the additional clock checklist to click on. But this time, instead of clicking schedule a single showing, we'll click on add to showing cart, and that will save our listing in our shopping cart for later. We're going to do this with all the listings in Matrix and add them to any existing buyer tours. But for now, I'm going to show you how to start a new tour by clicking add to showing cart. Then we'll select the date we want the tour to occur, add our buyer's name, add any notes, and then click OK. And that listing that we selected in Matrix is now going to be in our showing cart. So this is the screen that we'll use to build the tour, get driving directions, and then be able to send a tour itinerary to our buyer. And of course, it wouldn't make sense if we just had one listing in a tour to show to our buyer, so we should add a few more to the list. And to do that, there's a couple of ways to add additional listings. The first way is that you can enter the listing IDs in this text box up here, separate each of them by comma, and then click Go. And that will add all the listings simultaneously to the cart. The other way is through Matrix itself. Go ahead and select those listings that you want to add in by checking them off on the left. And then once you've got them all selected, click on the Showing Time button in the bottom speed bar, and that will add all the selected listings from the from the hot sheet view right into your showing cart. And then we have another way where you can add stops directly in this screen. To do this, you would click Add Listing Stop, search a listing to add by listing ID, or you can search by address. And then once you find the correct address from the search results, click on it, and that listing will now appear in the tour. And then if there was ever a time you wanted to add a non-listing stop, like your office or a coffee shop to meet up with your buyers before the tour, you can do so by clicking Add Other Stop, entering that address, and then clicking Add Stop. And now your office is appearing in the tour, and we can move it to the top of the list. And then before we proceed with rearranging the tour, I wanted to show you that you'll have driving directions being created for you, and you can access the turn-by-turn directions by clicking this button here. And this feature is great as it shows you the drive time between each showing, and it's very helpful to factor in when you're selecting those appointment times. Then to rearrange the listings, you can drag and drop them in any order that you desire. So we'll select the office since we mentioned that we wanted to meet with the buyers there to move to the top. So we'll click on it, slowly drag it to the top of the list. And now our tour is going to start at the office. And you can do the same process with the other listings if you know a good route, but we actually recommend that once you've got the first stop set, go ahead and click on this Smart Route button at the bottom of the cart. And that's going to utilize our Smart Route feature where the system will calculate the best route for you based on the driving directions. And then since we have our tour route set, the last thing to do is select a start and end time for each of the listings. So we'll click the Pick a Time button next to the first listing, select the type of appointment, a start and end time, add any notes, and then click Save. And now that you've selected the appointment time for the first listing, go ahead and do the same for the remaining listings, and then all your appointments are going to line up nicely on the right-hand side. And with that, we're actually done shopping for the listings, so we're ready to check out. And to request to show all of these listings at the same time, we're going to click on the Send Request button at the top. And that's going to send a request simultaneously for all the listings. And you can see that our appointment status column is now changed. So those Go and Show listings, they were confirmed instantly. The appointment required listings, they're still waiting for confirmation from the listing agent. And that View Instructions Only listing is providing a link to view those access details. And then if you ever want to walk away and then come back to your ShowingCart tours, you can do so by clicking on the ShowingCart button under the Showings tab. Select the tour from your calendar, and that's going to bring us back to the ShowingCart screen. And you can see in this example that all of our requests have been confirmed, so we're ready to take the buyer on tour. We recommend that you send this information to your buyer as a tour itinerary, and you have two choices where you can either print it or send an email by clicking on this envelope icon. And that will open up this nice little window to compose a message and click send to send this email to your buyer. So the link in that email will look like this. It's going to be all these listings together with the date and time of the tour, your contact information, and a map of the tour route. Moving on to ShowingTime messaging, you can send a message to any other agent in the market with our peer-to-peer messaging platform. To do this in the mobile app, all you have to do is tap on the conversation icon, which is going to alert you when you receive a new message in your chat area. And you can tap on one of your existing conversations or filter your conversations by the address or agent. And then if you ever wanted to start a new conversation, just tap on the plus button at the bottom of the screen, search for the agent by their name or by their listing, and then you can start chatting with them. So this platform is going to be really handy for you if you don't have an agent's number readily available, or if you just met them at an open house and you forgot to ask for their business card, you can connect with them this way. And this functionality exists on the desktop version as well, and you can access it by clicking on the Messages tab in the navigation menu, and then click on an existing conversation to open up, or again, click on the plus button to start a new conversation. Now we're going to look at the agent settings via Agent Setup. So to get there, we're going to go to our dashboard, click on the Edit Profile button, or you can click on your photo and name with the pencil icon in the navigation menu. And then once you're in your profile, you can always upload a new headshot by clicking on the Upload icon and then selecting a photo from your computer to upload and saving it. And then in the Profile Basics section, we recommend that you check this and confirm that your contact information is correct, as this is going to be the information that's displayed as your listing agent confirmation in any email sent regarding your listings. Scrolling down, this section is going to be your preferences as a listing agent. And these will be the default settings applied to your listings when they go live on the market. So we recommend that when you set these settings up, set them up for whatever your average listing is like. So right here, for example, if you typically work with vacant properties, instead of appointment required, we recommend that you change the default mode to Go and Show. And then you can also select how you're notified of a request by default. Select any combinations of this notification type by checking and unchecking these boxes. And then you have options for feedback requests as well. So after showing agents request a showing, they're going to automatically receive a request for feedback from you, and you can edit those settings about the feedback request here. Scrolling down, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. And remember to always click Save Changes at the top. So when you do, this alert window is actually going to pop up asking you to proceed with some options. So this option is going to update all your listings with those settings that you've adjusted. It's quick and handy, especially as you're preparing to use ShowingTime for the MLS. But if you don't want to override any listings that are already live and you just wish to edit those listings individually, just go ahead and click Save New Defaults. And again, this option is not going to affect any listings that are already active for online scheduling, only new listings that are coming into the market. And then as a showing agent, you have some default settings that you can adjust as well, such as the default appointment type that you're going to be typically scheduling for and the default duration of that appointment. And then you also have your messaging preferences, such as if you'd like to be notified when another agent sends you a message through the system, and you can select by email, text, or by a push notification from the ShowingTime mobile app. And since we're live with ShowingTime for the MLS, you'll actually now be able to download that ShowingTime mobile app and access the system through your smart device. So we're going to show an easier process on how to do just that and register your device as well. So in the Edit Profile screen, we'll scroll to Mobile App Access and then click on the Send Authentication link, and that's going to send you an email. When you open that email on your smart device, such as your smartphone or your tablet, you would tap on Download the app, and that's going to direct you to the correct page to download from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And then once you've installed it, do not immediately open the app. Actually, go back to this original email, scroll down, and you'll see that the second option is Log In. Tapping on that will automatically authenticate you into the system, and you don't have to worry about retrieving a code or a password. So it's very similar to when you're authenticating into the system through Matrix. Looking at the mobile app interface here, you can open the side menu by tapping on the hamburger icon, and you can see all the features that are available. The majority of the features that we've gone over so far, they also exist in the mobile app, and it's just a great way to keep the ShowingTime system with you while you're out and about in the field, as it's going to be able to sync your activity across the mobile app and the desktop site seamlessly. So we'll circle back to the remainder of the listing settings. So in your dashboard, again, how to get there, you'd click on the Listing Setup tab in the navigation menu, select the listing that you'd like to edit, and then once you're in your listing worksheet, you'll see in the appointment settings section that there's an option to select a feedback template. And this will be the questionnaire that's sent to showing agents after they show your listing. You can edit from a selection of templates, or if you want to customize your own form for a specific listing, property type, or price point, you can start from scratch. So to do this, we'll go to the Feedback tab on the left navigation menu, then click on Form Design and Settings, and then click on Feedback Form. So from here, you can customize your feedback form any way that you like, add or delete questions, edit existing ones, or you can delete them all and start from scratch. So to do that, to create a new form, you would click on Create New Template. Then select the type of response for each question that you'd like to add in, and all we really recommend is that you name each of your templates so that they're easy to identify when you're selecting them from the drop-down menu in the listing worksheet. Back to listing setup, you'll notice that there's a drop-down menu at the very top where if you have multiple listings, you can toggle between all of them so you can navigate worksheet to worksheet without leaving this view. And you can change the appointment type at the listing level and again, the feedback template that you'd like to use for this listing. And then the main thing to look at is the contact section. So this is where you can add your co-listing agents and your sellers. So for co-listing agents, they're going to be pulled automatically from Matrix and they'll already be present in this section. However, this person doesn't have to be a formal co-lister. It can actually be a team member, your assistant, or anyone else in your office that's assisting you with scheduling. Go ahead and add that person as a contact. They're going to have their own row with their contact information. And then from there, they'll now be able to see and edit this listing under their listing setup view. And then for your sellers, you would click on the Add New Owner Occupant button, then click on Add New, enter your seller's contact information, and click Save. And then once you've done that, your seller is now going to appear in the contact section, and you can select how they interact with the system. So this first column is how to notify them of new appointment requests and how those requests can be confirmed. And then the second column is how to notify for confirmations or cancellations. And note that when you're checking for your seller to receive emails here, you'll actually be saving your seller's email address into our system. And that will push for them to receive an email on your behalf via the ShowingTime system and gain access to their seller experience called My Home by ShowingTime. It's going to be an entire suite of features available to sellers where they can create an account, see all the showing activity for their listing, view the feedback that you've shared with them, and pull up the homes that they have for sale. So it's just a really nice way for your sellers to be kept in the loop about their home. And then back to the listing worksheet, I'll show you how to set up appointment restrictions. And this section was affecting the blacked out and grayed out time slots on the appointment calendar from earlier. So you can set the required lead time, the suggested lead time, select if you'll allow overlapping appointments, or add a restriction. And then with restrictions, that's going to block out specific days and times on the appointment calendar. So for example, if your seller has asked for no showings on Tuesdays from noon to 4, you can add that restriction and showing agents will not be able to request for that day and between those times. And then for our access details that we've covered previously, again, they're not going to be sent out until you have confirmed the appointment. So the listing activity report is a log that shows you all the activity on your listing since it went live on the market. To access it in the listing worksheet, we would click on Listing Activity Report under the listing photo. And in this report, you can see your showings per month, a graphical summary of feedback that you've received, as well as those individual feedback responses. And note that this feedback is not publishing to your seller automatically, as you're always going to have the option to review it first. And then after your review, you can publish it to your seller. And then down here, you can also see the showing activity and follow up with those showing agents as needed. And then for your view instructions only listings, you would be able to see here which showing agents access the instructions for that listing and what time and what day it was accessed as well. And if you ever wanted to share this report with your seller, we would click on the homeowner version under the listing photo. And you'll notice that this version is very similar to your agent version. However, the only feedback that's displayed in these two sections is the feedback that you've published after your review. And then these activity details, you'll see it's not displaying any showing agent information. So that's for you so that you don't have to worry that your seller's not going to be able to view it. For any of our office level users with us today, you would see this Office Setup tab in the navigation menu. And then under branding, you can upload your office's logo and set the trim color. And that will be the color that's the email header for any emails that go out on behalf of your agents. And to preview what the email would look like, you'd click on Preview Email and see the preview. Finally, if after today you have any questions at all, you can always click on the Helps and Support tab in the left navigation menu, and we have videos and step-by-step tutorial articles that will walk you through the system. If you ever have to reach out to our member support team, they're available to help you 7 days a week, and their contact information and hours of operation can be found here. However, we highly recommend to contact them through live chat, as it's going to connect you with a technician directly where you can receive help, share your screen, and coordinate a phone call if needed. This option is going to be the fastest way, and it's going to get you through to a human response directly. So I just want to thank you all for your time today. And if there's any questions in that box, I'm going to start answering them. If you haven't submitted one yet, please feel free to do so now. However, if you're not going to stick around, again, I appreciate you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Happy scheduling. Thank you for your time again, everyone. Again, Showing Time for the MLS is now live for Bright MLS. We didn't get any questions this time around, but if you have any after this session ends, please reach out to us via live chat at showingtime.com/live-chat. Okay, thank you.